Hello and welcome to the LTN Pulse, a podcast where we have conversations with LTN staff, missionaries, high-level volunteers, all in order to discover and dig into what they are reading, watching, playing, and experiencing in nerd culture. LTN Pulse, this is very important. LTN Pulse is a part of the Love Thy Nerd podcast network. You should check out the whole thing. There's 13 plus podcasts on there. And next is I am your host, Luke, and I am the director of missions at Love Thy Nerd. I help recruit, train, and lead mission teams to conventions across the globe. We are actually looking at going overseas to the UK and Germany this year. So if you want to know more about that, just keep listening. And something I have been experiencing, playing recently in nerd culture is I'm still playing Red Dead 2, so that's boring. I just finished watching Reacher, the third season. Not its strongest season, but it's still a ton of fun. If you're into that series on the Amazon Prime, you should check it out. Reacher, super fun. The fight coordination, choreography, it's top tier. But anyway, enough about me, because I am joined by...
Hi, I am Michael. I'm the other host for LTN Pulse. I'm a podcast producer, a Twitch streamer, and lately I've been getting back into No Man's Sky. I'm a No Man's Sky day one player. But my wife recently picked it up on Game Pass and got fully dove into it. She's loving it. I was like, well, if you're playing it, I'll pick back up, see what's going on. Apparently it's been 4 years since I played last, so some changes. They keep putting out updates. It's crazy. I love it. So good. But today, for our episode, Luke and I are joined by somebody I'm meeting for the first time in person and probably online. It's Tieranie. Tieranie, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, yourself, what you do for Love Thy Nerd?
It's nice to hang out with you guys. I am the TTRPG coordinator for Love Thy Nerd. I also do some of that stuff for like a local game shop here in town. And I'm a mom. I play a lot of games. Not so much lately, besides like tabletop stuff. And I'm a horror movie fanatic.
Nice. Is that that's a Nosferatu shirt?
It is.
I believe. Is it from the new one?
This one is the new one. Yeah, it's got a Willem Dafoe on it.
Nice. Now I gotta ask, does it stack up to the old one? Which I haven't seen either, and I feel like I need to because I'm very intrigued by this old school Dracula depiction. But
yeah, they do a really interesting job of like taking both the original and the first remake and going, frame for frame in a lot of places, but they also modernize it. They really add to it, really dives into a lot of like the lore from that time and that region. It's Robert Eggers who did The Witch and Northman and The Lighthouse. So he gets really into the historical stuff.
I imagine very PG-18 as well.
Yeah, light.
I am not a horror fan, and so my friend tried to get me to watch that, and I was like, absolutely not.
Nosferatu?
Yeah. Oh. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, but she also brought up The Witch, Witch, which is really good.
Yeah.
It really
very
is.
Impactful, like just kind of like staggering.
I'm going to be honest, all the horror just like blurs together. I didn't know we switched movies. I thought it's all the same to me, and I get scared. We're kind of peering into the future here for a second. I get like jump scared at just like normal movies. So like what is it? What books have you been reading, Tieranie? This is like peering into
what
the
books
future.
haven't I been reading?
Well, the ones about like the future when the kids fight each other.
Oh yeah, the Hunger Games. I'm
Hunger
back
Games.
in that era.
Thank you. I'm so bad I forgot that. I get jump scared in the first Hunger Games every time like the dog creature hops out of the woods.
That's fair though.
So that's my level of horror intake.
I get it.
Yeah. My wife,
I'm being
can't
judged right now. I
watch-
can feel it.
She can barely watch anything that is like heavily suspenseful, and it's not because she's particularly scared when she watches them, but she internalizes it a lot, and so she like is guaranteed to have like really bad dreams, really bad sleep, and that's like worse, I think, than being scared watching something. And so I give her a full pass on horror movies and scary stuff.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
That's a better excuse than me. I'm just a chicken. Tieranie, tell us a little bit more about the like TTRPG coordinating that you do. What does that look like?
It's a little interesting doing it online because you don't always know who you're playing with. You don't always know who's running your game. You don't always know who you're talking to. So it's a great way to like meet people and build relationships online. But then you have a problem with scheduling, which is the bane of every RPG player's existence. And it's even worse when you start getting into time zones. And like right now, it's, I'm 2 hours behind you guys. I'm 2 hours behind most of our community. So what I ended up doing was in the Love Diner Discord, I built a guild based on the D&D Adventure League. If y'all are familiar with that at all, you see it a lot at cons. Where
explain it really quick for listeners that don't know what that is.
Yeah. So you take your character and you play different games ran by different DMs in different places. So I could go to Origins and sit down and play with this same character, and then take it to Gen Con and sit down with a different DM and still play that same character. And so we're doing something kind of like that, just online with a team of DMs.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's kind of like there's specific character rule sets that allow you to have it standardized no matter where you're playing, right?
Right. Yeah. And right now, both the official league and the D&D Guild in LTN is running off of the 2024 5th edition rule set.
Oh, wow.
Which some people don't like. I really like the changes personally. It's really just 5.5. They just kind of revamped it. But I enjoy it, and it makes more sense going with what is official going forward, but they're going to keep releasing stuff for kind of following along in Wizards' footsteps and sticking with what's coming out. And which isn't to say that we won't implement third-party stuff, but right now there isn't third-party stuff that runs off those rules. So for now, it's just the official rule book.
Okay, nice. How many people are involved in the guild?
I think right now we have between 30 and 40 members. I want to say all but like 3 or 4 have made a character and at least played like the starting adventure.
Yeah.
And
wow,
we've got about a dozen or so that play a little more often than some others. But again, that's scheduling. We've got kids, we've got jobs, like we get it. And there's I've got a few DMs. Our team is relatively small, but our world builder, he doesn't DM right now, but he created all of the lore, all of the history. The only thing I did was make the map to go with it. And he is published in the Game Masters books. They're not by Wizards of the Coast, but they are a book of instant towns and cities, or random tables for whatever you might need to roll something for, random NPCs. He is in a few of those books and has another one coming out this summer. And so he's done amazing work with that.
God, that's so legit.
That's super cool.
I was expecting you to be like, yeah, we got probably like 9 or 10. No, this is ready to go. I love it. And up and running.
Yeah, and we've only been doing this since January.
What? Wow. Oh my gosh. I love it. That's so cool.
So how can people how can we add to that? How can people sign up, apply? What do they got to do to be a part of the guild?
jump in the Discord. Under channels and roles, you can select the adventurer role, or you kind of down below, like the general chats, there is a Dungeons and Dragons like category, and there is a become an adventurer channel. Hop in there, hit the little banner emote, and you get full access to all the channels.
Dang. Discord is so cool.
Yeah, it is. It's
Everything
so
that's
handy.
like automated, and it's like, yeah, you just got to follow these simple things. It's very
and
intuitive.
it's easier than making everybody that doesn't play have to mute everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the olden days.
Well,
oh my gosh.
I have it on good authority that Michael might be wanting to play some D&D. Oh,
Yes.
So you're going to have to win him over.
But yes.
Get him to join the guild.
There's not much to win me over. My dice tower is just out of reach yonder. On the other side of the wall are my other dices.
Ooh.
My my grand splurge in TTRPGing, which is a wormwood dice tray.
Oh, I'm jealous.
The cheapest one they offer, but
I'm still jealous.
Yeah, that was a couple of splurges when my wife and I discovered them at or like first found out about them really at Dragon Con one year. But yes, it would not take. It's not going to take a lot of pushing for it. So I actually need to bring this up with my wife too, because she loves D&D as well.
Yeah.
And she's a great DM. She's a great player. So I'm not committing her to anything. Just
it's too late.
I just got to convince. Yeah, now
I
you
saw
already got one more
Tieranie write her name down.
I'm like, all right.
Yes. She doesn't listen to the podcast. She won't know.
No, but that's awesome. Like you said it, we, as an adult, you have just so many responsibilities. Michael and I just bonding over the fact that we both mowed our lawn today. And that was, time spent not having fun playing any sort of games. So yeah, being flexible, having that kind of like open world to where people can they don't have to commit to the same storyline, the same adventure every single time. They can just hop in the world.
Time and day every week. That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like, even my in-person group right now is like, okay, we're on Sunday nights, but now like the DM has a new job, so we might have to move to another night. And yeah, it's always fun.
Yeah.
It reminds me, I think there's I'm probably going to butcher this joke, but it's like what is Jesus's greatest miracle? That he got 12 adult men to hang out consistently.
This is true. This is true. Tieranie, besides D&D, let's talk a little bit about what else you've been up to. What have you been reading lately? I kind of already alluded to it, but
kind of a little of everything. Physically, I have been reading a book called Pen Pal. It's very short, but I'm kind of slow going through it right now. It's a horror novel that actually started on Reddit. It was under like a creepypasta or a similar kind of thread, and ended up becoming this published book about it's this guy like kind of recounting his childhood, and as it goes it starts piecing together like bits of a story that like he as an adult is just now figuring out for himself. It's very creepy, especially as a mom of a little boy, and some of the chapters are when this kid is little, and I'm like, I don't like this. It's good, but definitely in a creepy way.
I think I've read that on No Sleep.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah. It's a good one.
There's another one that I'm a big fan of that I was from also one of those threads. So I'm like, I'm down for it. Like, why not? Local bookstore got it and it was like super cheap. So I was like, yeah, okay, why not? I've been doing a lot more. I'm not normally an audiobook person, but I've been doing some like home improvement projects, painting, fixing things. So I've been going through audiobooks like crazy because I can actually focus on it. And like I said, I'm back in my Hunger Games era. That the new one, it's a prequel, came out just a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And before that came out, I realized, well, I never got through the last prequel that came out like during the pandemic. I had a newborn baby. I was preoccupied. I was not reading in 2020. And I went ahead and picked that up on Audible and went through that, loved it. Sunrise on the Reaping came out. And it is about, the first prequel is about President Snow when he's like 18 and a tribute that he mentors from District 12, which unlocked a lot of like, oh, this is why Snow doesn't like Mockingjays or why he doesn't like, you know, these certain things. But the Sunrise on the Reaping is about Haymitch when he was in the Hunger Games, the 50th, the second quarter quell.
Dang.
And it was phenomenal. Like, it might be the best one out of the entire series. It was so good. I went through it in just a few days.
Yeah.
I could not stop listening to it. Even when I wasn't working on the house, I was like walking around with my phone in my pocket, just listening to it because it was so well written. It really fleshed out not only Haymitch, but a lot of other characters from the original trilogy. By the end, I had finished painting a wall. I was sitting on the tile, like the bottom of the wall. And I just sat the paintbrush down and like sobbed on my, kitchen tile for 20 minutes. It was so good, but so painful. And then immediately I'm like, I haven't read the originals in a really long time. Audible's having a sale. It was like $12 for all 3 books. So I'm halfway through Catching Fire right now.
Nice.
We were just talking about the Hunger Games earlier today in one of my meetings because somebody else, another one on the missions team, Joe, actually, he's reading it as well, and he's a big fan. But the original trilogy is one of the few series I read like start to finish in a matter of weeks. I'm not a big reader either, but when those were coming out.
Yeah, I originally read them before the movies even existed, and I kept telling people, you've got to read these books. And then they announced the movie, and everybody's like, oh, I'm going to read the book. Hey, you should read these books. And I'm like, I told you this 3 years ago. Like, now everybody's into them.
I was reading them before they were cool. I also read them before the movies came out. And then the movies came out, and the first 2 were great. And the last 2, which should have been 1, they changed just enough to where I was just like, oh, this is what book people talk about when it's like, they're like, the movie's not the same.
What's weird is I disagree. I always thought that Mockingjay was too crammed. Like, it should have been a longer or 2 books. So when they made it 2 movies, it wasn't so rushed. I liked it a lot better. And the few changes didn't bother me, especially like some of them were because Philip Seymour Hoffman passed away before they were finished filming, things like that were inevitable. So I get it.
I think the biggest one was, I think Primrose, her story was different.
It might have been. It's been a long time.
I know. I can't remember exactly, but I remember it was just different. And I'm like, it took away from it a little bit. That was just my personal opinion. Still great.
I haven't even seen the movies in a while.
I know. The recent hype makes me kind of want to go watch or just listen to the audiobooks or something.
Yeah, the one about Snow, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the movie came out, I think, in 2023, and I still haven't seen it. So I've just been kind of like keeping an eye out for like a Blu-ray sale or something because I'm like, I'm going to watch it. I don't want to rent it. They came out
with a movie about the prequel?
Yeah.
Oh, what? Dude, am I living under a rock?
And the tribute is, I can't remember her last name, Rachel something, is the actress that's in the new Snow White. She's Lucy Graybeard in that. I'm like, I forgot that even came out because it came out like right after the pandemic when things were still kind of crazy. So I'm like, I don't want to rent it. I'm just watching for Blu-ray sales.
Maybe I'll watch it.
Maybe your local library, perhaps.
That's a good idea, actually. I didn't think about that.
I've been getting into the local library scene myself, so it's just top of mind.
Sometimes I'll use Libby with my library. I went through a book a couple months ago on there because I'm like, I don't have a credit and I don't want to spend $20 on it. Let's see if Libby's got it. And so that was kind of nice.
Nice. Yeah, libraries are cool. Having fun isn't hard when you have a library card.
Exactly.
If you know, you know.
God, we're so millennial.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Wow. Fumbling over my words here. What have you been playing recently?
Video game wise or just in general?
Yes.
I haven't been playing video games a whole lot. I've been doing more reading, watching movies when I can, and a lot of just working on the house, working, I've got this job and I also do some social media management. So I haven't played a whole lot of video games, but I got a Legion Go for Christmas. It's kind of like a Steam Deck, but
yeah.
it's a Windows machine. And I have been putting more senseless time in Baldur's Gate. It's become
Nice.
such a comfort game. I'm at 500 hours, and last night I discovered another thing I hadn't seen yet. And I'm like, how am I still finding things?
Oh my
Are you
gosh.
playing? Is it like a one playthrough, or are you like? Do you have multiple characters?
I have multiple characters.
Okay.
I finished my original playthrough on the PS5 when it came out
Yeah.
on consoles. And then last year I was like, man, I'm bored. I was like waiting in between like game releases, and I'm like, Baldur's Gate sounds fun. So I made another character and played through it again. And now sometimes I play with my friends. Sometimes I just like, I want to try a different character build. Yesterday, a friend and I both made characters using mods. We hadn't done that yet, using classes and stuff that we didn't have access to while we wait for patch 8 to officially add new subclasses. We've been waiting a while.
Is there any news on that? Is it coming or?
Yeah, they've been playtesting it since January or February. And I've heard good things about it, but definitely still some bugs and stuff they're trying to work out. So just trying to be patient, and
that's good.
I'm still discovering things. So
yeah, Larian, man, they don't go halfway on anything. Like, I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3, but I have played was it Divinity Original Sin 2? And that game in and of itself was nuts. And with all I've been told about Baldur's Gate, I can only imagine.
Yeah, and we knew with this patch we're getting a photo mode and cross-platform play finally. And then around Christmas, they were like, surprise, every class is getting a new subclass when we release this patch. And I was like, oh, my heart. Thank you. That's all I needed to hear. And everybody was like, we'd pay you for this content. And they're like, yeah, no, we don't want your money. We just want you to have fun. And I'm like, I'm so sad that Wizards has already been like, nah, you're not making the next one. Like, that is the dumbest decision they've made in a long time. And that includes the OGL debacle from last year.
Yeah, I couldn't believe when I read that they didn't want Larian to do Baldur's Gate 4.
I know.
It's like, hey, see all of these awards and all of the successes behind Baldur's Gate 3? Yeah, let's not do that for the next one.
Yeah. I'm like, my jaw dropped. I'm like, what? Why? What is going through your minds when, in like the last D&D themed video game came out, it was a Dark Alliance game. It was a different studio and it wasn't good. Not to say that no other studio is going to be good, but, they're going to have to fish around before diving headfirst, because I'd like to see a lot of the older games come back. Neverwinter Nights or Icewind Dale. A lot of those are too old to, they hardly even run on Steam because they're from like the late 90s, early 2000s. They're from, old PC gaming.
Yeah, they just straight up won't run on a modern PC.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy to think about.
Right, like your PC is too good for this game.
Yeah, exactly. Like that doesn't make any sense.
And then some of them are on Switch, but then it's like, okay, but I don't want to play it with a controller. Like those are mouse and keyboard games. They're point and clicks. They're so I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Dude,
Baldur's Gate works pretty well with a controller.
I'm sure somebody out there, because there's retro gamers that like Matt Warmbier. He plays on his GameCube regularly. I'm sure there's people out there that have like an old Gateway PC that is just like running the original, like those original games, or like the original. Now I'm blanking on it. I can't even think tonight.
Like the old Doom and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Age of Empires. YouTube LGR reviews, like Lazy Gamer reviews.
Yeah.
His whole shtick is like old computers and old games, and he'll build like here's here's a gaming PC or what a gaming PC looked like in 1998
Yeah.
with like the original parts, and he'll run like Quake and do all that stuff.
That's what I'm talking about. I need to look that up.
It's good, wholesome content. The guy is great. It's a full recommend for the whole family, especially if you like old, like 90s, even 80s sometimes nerdy stuff. Top notch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into that. My son, like, he's really young, you know, he's only 5.5, but he really enjoys pixelated games because he's a big Minecraft player.
Nice.
And so sometimes I'll be watching, I'll watch a video about, you know, Baldur's Gate, and they'll start talking about like older isometric games. And he's like, "Whoa, Mom, that looks really cool. We should play it." And I'm like, "Well, buddy, like, they don't run that well anymore. It's kind of hard to do that. But maybe if I can find videos like that, he'd probably really enjoy that."
Yeah. I'll send you some links. Links in the Discord, links in the description if we remember.
If we ever have a description. Have you been playing anything like tabletop wise?
Other
than
D&D,
D&D?
of course. Never mind. My friends got me back into Magic the Gathering last year. And I say back in because I played a long time ago. And around like 2015, 2016, our game shop closed. And it's where I always went for pre-releases, and I went for tournaments, and I was there like on Monday nights and Friday nights, and they closed down. And then I'm like, okay, well, I still have friends to play with. Well, then they started getting married and moving and going to college. And so I hadn't played in a long time. And this newer place opened last year. It's a juice tavern. It's a sober space, but it's like a D&D tavern themed coffee and smoothie shop. And that's where we play games. And it was like the first or second time I played D&D there. I was packing up my stuff, and my friend Adam, we're friends now. He was like, "Hey, you should try Magic with us sometimes." And I looked at him and I'm like, "But I got cards that are older than you." And he was like, "Oh," he's like, "Well, you should come play with us." And so I dug up all of my old cards and got back into it last summer. And I'm really glad because I missed it.
You pulled out your Black Lotus, you know.
Oh, if I had a Black Lotus, I would not have a mortgage payment.
Yeah. Facts.
But
that's cool that you were able to use like an older set, because Magic updates so often, and are they still on the edition that is basically like racing?
Yes, because that one is not the newest anymore. A new one technically comes out on the 11th, but pre-release was last week. But yeah, and right now they've changed it so standard is legal for like 7 years or something ridiculous. But we play Commander, which they don't retire. So, and it's just casual. That's what we do on Monday nights, or like, hey, we've got some time before D&D. Why don't we play for a bit? Stuff like that. And it's been nice. Like, I've found a lot of my cards are from like 2013, 2014. I had a lot from like the late 90s, early 2000s. I sold off some of those not too long ago because I was like, I don't play with these ones. And I've got some cards that are worth, you know, a couple pennies in here. I sold them off for store credit because there's a Final Fantasy set coming out this summer. And I'm like, okay, I want that. I need that.
Yes.
And of course, it's going to be the most expensive set they've ever done. And I'm like, okay, I'm selling cards because I need this.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I've seen some of that stuff. And some of the stuff that they're doing with all the other IPs is just, it's really cool. They're really trying to pull new players in, and I think it makes it really approachable.
And it's working. Like, I know there's some people in the community, like some YouTubers I like, that aren't real keen on it, you know, especially people who've been playing for like 30 years. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm a nerd. Like, I rock a Mothman deck that's like all Fallout, and I have a Mr. House deck that's half Fallout, half D&D because it's all dice rolling mechanics. Like, yeah, I'm totally nerd out about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine who's a huge Lord of the Rings fan dabbled into Magic the Gathering for the Lord of the Rings decks. So,
and those ones are
brilliant.
Yeah, those ones
are
cool.
Yeah.
I have a deck that's like almost entirely otters. They're all like wizards and stuff.
Yes.
And then like randomly I have Gandalf the White in there just because he works really well with the deck. He's like the only
Nice.
human in the deck besides
Nice.
Gale from Baldur's Gate.
Gandalf and
They've been a bunch of otters.
Yeah.
It's always good for
Dude,
a
I
laugh
love
when he
that,
comes
though.
out.
Yeah. I love that though. Like, so we have a pretty steady group that plays here. I don't play as much. I don't play like I used to, but I have a few pre-cons. But like, people are just so creative. Like, I just want a rat deck. I'm going to get all the rats that I can, and I'm going to defeat your dragons with my rats. And it's just like, it's ridiculous. I love it.
That's
Rats
one
have
thing I
death
like
touch.
to do. I love Death Touch. That's one thing I like to do,
Oh.
like in the evening is, late at night, my kid's in bed. I'm going to turn on garbage TV or maybe a scary movie, and I'm going to sit and build a deck because I like it. It's fun.
Yeah.
I just built one that's elves with a sprinkling of spiders. Just because I
Oh.
had a bunch of those cards. I was like, hey, this sounds fun.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
And it's actually a pretty good deck.
Nice. Nice.
I love
What's the coloring on that?
Black, green.
Black, green. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
it's got actually quite a few things from Lord of the Rings, a lot of elves from Lord of the Rings because they work really well.
Nice. Nice.
And then my friends and I will also sit and trade and be like, hey, I'm looking for this.
Yeah.
Like, do you have it? Yeah, it's like a 17-cent card. Like, I will just bring it to you. Or yeah, it's a couple bucks. Like, do you still have this card that I wanted? And I'm like, yeah, okay. We do a lot of that back and forth and it's
Nice.
fun.
Yeah,
And it's
what it's about.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. Like when somebody asked me last week, hey, do you have this one green card? It was only printed in one set in 2014. And I'm like, guess what set I have a lot of from 2014? And I had that card and like just made his day.
Yeah.
It's fun, and it's way more fun than like buying singles. And
yeah,
I like helping others with their decks, but then I get mad when they use the same deck to beat me. So
yeah.
Oh well.
That happens.
Oh,
what about watching? You've been watching anything good lately?
A lot of YouTube.
Okay.
Because
dude, same.
Usually if I'm watching TV lately, it's like I'm working, I'm listening to it in the background while I do something in the kitchen.
Yeah.
A lot of YouTube.
Any channels in particular?
I watch a lot of Magic content. I really like their smaller channels. I like MTG Moxman and Hometown TCG. They're just like every day they'll put out a video like 10 minutes about this new set coming out, or 10 minutes about like, hey, these cards, the prices went up. So maybe if you're going to sell them or you want to buy them, jump on it now. Those kind of things. And then I like garbage like Reddit reactions. I get like so into that. Like there's like Charlotte Dobre posts a new one every day. Call Me Krista, some of that stuff. And I'm like, every day when I sit down with my coffee, I'm like, all right, their new video should be out. So this is what I'm going to watch is, they've been doing some newer ones lately. Like, Am I in the Wrong? And those are kind of interesting. Like, hey, this is my side of the story. Am I the wrong one? Or it's so fun to listen to. Or Bridezilla stories. I love those.
You got to send me some links. That's like my wife's, like that's what she's on Reddit for.
Yes, same. I mean, I use it sometimes for like gaming stuff, computer stuff. There's a couple, but then there's things that I'm like, I don't even post here. I'm just here for the tea and to scroll.
Yes.
And it's so ridiculous. And it's gotten to the point where my son recognizes them. I walk in and he's like, oh, hey, Mom, it's Chris. I'm like, yeah, it is, buddy. You want to watch with me? I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Hey.
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
Yep.
It's better than the stuff he wants to watch on YouTube. So if I have to see Skibbity Toilet one more time, I'm going to cry.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm like, where did you find that?
My nephew showed that to me once and I was like, well, that's enough for my entire life.
Yeah.
Oh, and one day he's like, Mom, there's a Skibbity Toilet toy. And I'm like, no.
Never.
Absolutely not. No, I've seen that at Target.
Anything else.
Yeah.
Like, I will buy you a car. We are not buying that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, Tieranie, what's coming up for you in Love Thy Nerd World? What do you got going on? Any upcoming trips? Any events in the tabletop world of the Discord, meetups, anything along those lines?
Nothing anytime super soon besides, the Discord, the guild. I plan on running more events like myself instead of just the DM team now that my schedule's not quite so crazy. I currently don't have any plans for traveling in the summer, but I do have my badge for Gen Con. I still need to get everything else go, but I have a badge because I always go. Because why not? It's fun. I really enjoy it. And I get to see a lot of my friends. I get to see a lot of my coworkers. I get to bother Luke for 4 days. It's great.
Not this year.
Ah, dang it. You just ruined my day. I forgot about that.
Yep, not going to Gen Con anymore. I'm not going to.
I will just bother Bubba and Matt twice as much.
I may be there for a day. We'll see. We'll see how we're doing.
And then in early September, I should be in Milwaukee to run the RPG room for Strong Tower Gaming Convention again. Nice. I'm excited about that. Just like last year, I'll be working with Mana Oasis. They're like a local nonprofit, and they do things like running games for veterans and first responders with PTSD. And I really like the work they do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to be invited back this year to hopefully make the RPG room bigger, because last year was the first year and it was a success, but it was small. So hoping to kind of ramp that up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'd like to travel more this year, but I'm way out in New Mexico and most of what LTN does is on the other side. So I have to kind of pick and choose. I'm
in North Carolina. Not a lot's close to here either. I get one convention. I get Tantrum Con, and that's about it.
Yeah. And like Albuquerque does like Comic Cons, but they do it like the worst possible times of the year. Like they do it the first weekend of August when I'm at Gen Con, and then they do the other one in like the beginning of January when it snows between here and Albuquerque and you can't get there. So it's like, what about like May? Like, come on, guys. I don't have anything going on. It's only a 3-hour drive, but no.
Schools are close to getting out. I mean, like, come on.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it snowed in New Mexico, and I don't know why I ever thought that it wouldn't snow in New Mexico.
It does in the north.
Okay.
Especially up where I'm at. I'm up in the Four Corners. I'm only like 30 minutes from Colorado, and it's high desert. I think where I'm at right here, I'm sitting at like 59,000 feet for elevation. And the town I grew up in, like 10 miles away, is like 6,200 or something like that. And then 45 minutes, you're in the mountains up in Colorado. And it's close enough that I had my son up there just because I preferred the hospital. So, we get, like, it's April and we had snow last week. And now it's 70 degrees out.
I saw that in the Discord. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's so
High
crazy.
desert is a weird kind of area, but I like it. It's pretty. The weather's really like, it's usually pretty temperate. We don't get a lot of humidity. We get all the seasons. My allergies are kicking my butt though.
You had me at no humidity.
I know, right?
I've lived my whole life in the American Southeast, and if I would trade anything just to get rid of humidity I'll take a dry heat any day.
Oh yeah. Luke picks on me because I go to Indiana and I'm like, oh, I'm dying. He's like, it's not even humid out. And I'm like, look at where I'm from.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of summers in Phoenix and Las Vegas. Like this is way different out there.
Yeah. We lived on like opposite ends of the humidity spectrum where you have 0% humidity and Guam had like 200% humidity.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, Indiana seems like a lot for 0 and nothing at all for 200. So
yeah, that's a big reason I haven't been to Florida since 2018. Like it's just a lot.
Florida's too much for me.
I love Disney World, but oof.
Yeah.
The last couple times I did Disneyland instead because California is way more chill, especially in like May. I'm I don't know how you guys live out in that stuff.
Yeah. Florida's basically uninhabitable from like May to August, or not August, October.
Yeah.
Oof.
So are parts of Texas.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Texas gets it bad too from the Gulf. Man. Thanks for joining our weather podcast.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
Next to
We
sports.
talk about the humidity and
hey, other millennials know. They feel it. They know what's up.
yeah, it's that.
We're getting old.
So how about that
Yes.
weather, huh?
Talking about yard work, talking about humidity. It's all the things that, yeah.
Yeah. It's super nerdy.
Yes.
Oh, anyways, what do you have anything coming up at your local game store?
We are starting, like I said, I do some of my TTRPG coordinating stuff over there starting in May for the summer. I've got a little team of DMs, local, they're going to start running a game, like a one-shot every week. Same time every week. Somebody else will run a different one-shot just to keep things going through the summer without pushing all of it onto one DM, because it's surprisingly tiring to do. And most of them also run a weekly campaign. And then I haven't done it since before the holidays. Sometimes I run events where I just, if you've never played D&D or you're really new and, still need some help, come in. I do like a 3-4 hour thing where people can come in and of all ages and sit down and learn how to play. And that is a lot of fun. It gets a lot of people in, and we've had requests for like, hey, teach us how to be a dungeon master so we could run our own game. So that's something that I'd like to try to implement this summer.
Nice. Very
Awesome.
cool.
Is that something that is also a part of the guild on the Discord for something for like new players? If somebody's listening or watching and they're like, I've always kind of wanted to give D&D a shot, but I don't really like know anything about it other than what I've seen on Stranger Things or in media. Is there a beginner's path or like an entryway in the LTN Discord?
Yes, we do a character creation workshop where we sit and show you how to make a character on D&D Beyond if you've never done it, and walk you through the 2024 like character changes. That way, even if you do play, but you haven't really messed with the like changes yet, then we're happy to show you how everything works. And then our intro adventures are absolutely beginner friendly. They're level 1. They're like an hour and a half, 2 hours long. You're going to go fight like some spiders or rats or, maybe a goblin, something easy, but still fun.
Awesome. I'm of the opinion that character creation is like at least half the fun of D&D.
Yes.
Is coming up with is creating a character. And once you do it for the first time and you get an understanding of kind of what the process is, it's too much fun. And you're just going to start coming up with, I want to create, this interesting character that is maybe this wild combination, or like, I've got this idea for the super focused, like min-maxed class for a paladin or whatever. It's great. It's like making magic decks. You just, infinite, possibilities.
Yeah, I'll do that. Sometimes it's just out of nowhere. I'm like, I need to do this, and I'll pull up D&D Beyond, and I'll be like in the middle of a D&D game, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, making a character. For what? Because I had an idea. What do you mean for what?
Don't worry about it.
I have so many unplayed characters.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's there if I need him, and he's cool.
And then I'll spend 3 hours on Hero Forge making an image. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. Awesome. Well, Tieranie, thank you so much for joining us on this episode. It's been great getting to know you, hearing about the really cool stuff going on in LTN's Discord. If you're watching or listening and you want to know how to get there, lovethynerd.com/Discord. We'll send you to the Discord and you can get plugged in and introduced and start messing around and having a good time. But for all of our listeners and watchers out there, we do thank you for joining us on this episode of LTN Pulse, seeing what's happening in nerd culture missions, as well as what we are reading, watching, playing, experiencing in nerd culture. As I mentioned before, joining the fun on the Discord. You got the link. We'll have it in the show notes. Probably, hopefully, maybe It's lovethynerd.com/Discord. You remember it. You'll get it. It's fine. If you're listening, you can check us out on YouTube. If you're watching and you want to hear our beautiful voices in the car, we're everywhere you find podcasts. So easy to get us there as well. Last but not least, if you are interested in partnering with Love Thy Nerd, joining the team in some way, shape, or form, helping this ministry to grow and continue, head over to lovethynerd.com/partner and check out the information there. You can find out all the ways you can get, you can be helping out in the ministry. And that's all we've got for you this week. It's been great. And I have been Michael.
I have been and always will be Luke.
I think I'm Tieranie.
I think so too.
And this has been LTN Pulse. We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.